First of all, I want to thank all of y'all for coming here today. Also, I want to thank God, my mom, my family, my coaches, Word of God Christian Academy, Dr. Frank and Jonelle Summerfield for helping me through this tough process. It has been a very difficult process, but I have chosen to attend the University of Kentucky. These are my reasons why I chose the University of Kentucky. Relationship with Coach Cal. From the beginning, he told me it was going to be a tough process. It wasn't going to be easy. The dribble job offense, I think it fits my style of play perfect. And he's just a great coach of point guards. He knows what he's doing to get him to the next level and develop him as great players. My next step is Coach Cal. He was told me that I want to go to a school that a team could compete for a national championship. And also I want to go to a school that was going to help me become a great student. Now I open the floor for any questions.
John Clem, Wilderness in DC 17 in Raleigh. Can you talk about the local schools that you visited in North Carolina State too, and what kind of led to your decision to travel outside of this area?
All of them was great schools. You know, they all had great academics, a great coach, great players there. It was a very tough decision, but, you know, like I said, the relationship with Coach Cal just got it overboard and helped me pick my decision to go to the University of Kentucky.
Bob Holly, WRAL. You watch basketball on TV. Who are some players that you admire or relate to both at the college level and at the NBA level?
College level this year, I like Johnny Flynn and Ty Lawson. On the NBA level, I like Derrick Rose and Chris Paul.
Why?
A lot of people compare me to Derrick Rose, and I think Chris Paul is a great player, and I try to compare my game after him too.
How much did it matter, John, to see Derrick Rose and what he was able to accomplish in his year at Memphis? How much did that convince you that Coach Cal has a system that he'll do well?
It kind of convinced me, the comparisons, of both of us as great players, and what Coach Cal did for him at at Memphis and help him get there. I think I can do the same thing at the University of Kentucky.
To follow up, was there ever a time when Coach Cal was switching jobs that you really maybe were opening up your mind to maybe other coaches in the program?
Yes, sir. When he switched jobs, I opened up my recruitment. That's when I, allowed schools like University of Duke, University of Florida to get into the mix because it opened up my process.
There were some, it definitely became apparent that you couldn't have technically applied for the NBA draft if you'd gone through some of the channels. Did you ever consider that, and why did you decide not to?
I decided not to because I promised my mom and my dad before he died that I was going to attend college.
John, how important was it to you to go to a school with a winning tradition? Obviously, if you're going to a school that's the winningest in NCAA history, did that play a factor for you?
Not as much. It played a little bit, but, I just said, it was a great school to go to, academics, as a basketball school too, but, it's just a relationship with Coach Cal and what he's doing with his point guards that got me to choose the University of Kentucky.
What were the schools that you were the last group that you picked from?
University of Florida, University of Kentucky, University of Miami, and Duke University.
John, when you look back on it, what's the one moment that kind of capsulizes, puts everything into perspective, the high school experience?
What do you mean by that? Like,
what was the brightest spot in the last 4 years for you?
I think when I came to Word of God Christian Academy, we won 2 state championships back to back. That set it off, and then especially when I just picked my college, the University of Kentucky, the other day, that really caps it off.
John, there was a lot of speculation when Juan Clifton got the job at Baylor that, you're going to end up at Baylor. Obviously, it didn't turn out that way. Have you talked to Juan since he made the decision? And also, can you just talk about that, a lot of people had assumptions that didn't turn out?
I talked to him through email. He said he was going to support my decision no matter what. A lot of people said I was going to go to Baylor because here, and people said I was going to go to other schools, but, everybody that came in my life right now helped me with this decision, gave me advice, and it just came out to be the University of Kentucky.
John, Coach Cal has obviously got just a killer recruiting class now. If you talk to those guys, there's got to be huge expectations going in.
Yes, sir. I talk to them a lot. It's going to be a lot of expectations, but, as a point guard, I'm going to try to come in, make everybody better and try to win games. But I know it's going to be tough from the beginning because there's a lot of freshmen coming in. It's a new team and new coach, and we just got to go in and try to work hard, and all of us become better players and, make a run at the national championship.
I mean, there was the Fab Five in Michigan, and a lot of people are kind of connecting them to what Coach Cal has coming into Kentucky. Have you guys had those conversations? Were you even familiar with that Fab Five in Michigan growing up?
Not really, but not really. I'm not familiar with it, but we just trying to go in and start our own legacy. The Fab Five did a great job, but I'm a type of player that want to go in and leave a statement for myself and for my teammates. So we want to start something new.
John, you said one time that you never said that you had a plan of going to college for 1 year and leaving. That was never a plan.
No, sir, it's not a plan. My plan is to go to the University of Kentucky for the next 2 or 3 years. And if after that 1 year, if Coach Cal says it's my time to go to the NBA, then I'm going to go.
John, could you talk about just how demanding this process has been for you in terms of your time, and have you felt like you were almost living in a fishbowl at times because of all the attention you were getting?
Yes, sir. At the beginning, I loved it. I was happy to get recruited by all these schools, but the last couple of months it's been kind of tough. But it feels good and relief just to get over and know what school I'm going to.
How many phones have you burned through? How many text messages, phone calls have you guess you've gotten over the last year?
I got a lot of phone calls, but you couldn't get no text messages since April 1st of last year, so I just got a lot of phone calls from coaches.
How many a day?
Can you do it out, please?
I'm sorry, Dane, how many WRL? John, how many phone calls a day do you think you got about?
Sometimes it might be up to 4 or 5 a day. It depends on, before I lowered my list, it was a lot of calls I got a day, but ever since I lowered my list, it'll probably be 3 or 4 a day.
3 or 4?
Yes, sir.
I don't know that that should be recorded. He doesn't remember exactly. He's in school all day, half the day, functioning as a student, so keeping up with how many calls he gets is a little unfair, so hopefully that's not documented like that.
Talk a little bit about the University of Kentucky's history and prestige in basketball, what that means to you.
It means a lot. It's a great school. Outside of basketball, it's a great school for students to go to, and it's a great school to go to for athletes. And it's a big tradition. I just want to go to it and hopefully add on to it.
You know what you plan to study?
No, sir, not yet. Yes, sir. But I do like computers. I might try to major in something with computers.
Who's sitting with you? I'm sorry.
My sister to my left is Tanya Pulley, and to my right is my founder of the school, Bishop Summerfield. Tanya Pulley.
Tanya.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, Dr. Summerfield has advised you in this process. Who else have you turned to for advice, and how much of this was just kind of a lonely decision that you had to make?
Like I said at the beginning, I turned to all my coaches, the principals here, athletic director there, my family. They all helped me through this process, and I just took their advice and came down and made a decision for myself that I felt that was best for me, my family, and the people that helped me.
Who was the toughest to say no to amongst the schools that you ultimately didn't go?
To me, I'm the type of person that's hard to say no, so it was tough to say no to all the schools. All of them did a great job recruiting me, and they all was great schools, but it was just so tough to say no to all those other schools and choose one.
I had read a report that you had maybe said kind of a soft yes to Coach Hayes down in Miami. Was there any truth to that? Or?
No, sir, that's not true at all.
There are many players of your caliber that leave this state. Have you thought about that and just how rare that is? I mean, maybe Dominic Wilkins long before you were born, and Danny Manning, but it's really pretty rare.
No, sir, I didn't really think of, I would have loved to stay in state, but, the best school that I chose that I thought was for me was outside of state, and that's the University of Kentucky.
How good did it feel when you finally knew where you were going to go, and what was your mom's reaction?
She was happy. She usually ain't used to stuff like this, so once it was over, she was just happy and joyful, just like me. The last couple of months had been stressful for me, but once I made a decision, it just seemed like everything was more happier.
John, Dane, WRL. You were in the news a couple weeks ago about what happened with the house. Did that cause you to delay this decision to publicity, and is there anything more you can tell us about what happened?
No, sir, that did not help me. It was just a big mistake. I'm sorry to my family, my fans, and my school, and it's just something that happened. I put it behind me, and I'm just looking forward to make my next step on to college.